welcome. This is Aurora Dream Domes. I'm Gerard Poole, and this is,
Diana Algerpool.
and we are really going to, this is quite an update here. The dome has, for us, our dome has been built. Not only that, it has arrived. So we're going to talk about its arrival, what was involved in it, and what our plans are. It's not going to be built right away, and we'll explain that. So let's start off with one of the cool things that they do is they send us a video of our dome being built. I mean, what they do is they build it, they assemble it, make sure everything works correctly, make sure all the parts fit, and then they disassemble it and then send it to us. So here you can see, I took off the volume, but that's our dome. How do I know? I'll show you how I know. See that door over there? That's the door where I have placed our the bathroom. I have a 2.1 meter outside of it. That's the front door. So anyways, that's pretty encouraging. You can really see that they have a really nice factory and they're building them all the time. So that was a real, that was encouraging. It took them longer than we thought. That worked out to our advantage to a degree also. Well, maybe not. Diana, how long have we had the deck built?
We have had the deck built since I think April.
Yeah, and I don't
April
know
or May.
I don't know if our builder could have put people off from the house to this because they were very slow. I've heard since then, every time I tell that tale of woe, everybody says, well, that's what to be expected. So if you're building a house, expect close to a year, which I thought was just insane. But Diana, you did not have that experience, did you, in your first house?
I did not. The house that I built 28 or 29 years ago went up in 3 months, start
In
to
the
finish.
dead of winter.
Right. They started the first week in February of the year that they were building it, and I was in by the middle of May. So it was, maybe 3.5 months. But
So maybe things have changed, but everybody we've ever spoken to says, yeah, that's what to expect. I mean, so, okay, there you go. That's what to expect. At any rate, so I'm going to go to this next. That's them putting the 2 millimeter right there, the 2.1 meter. That's going to be my my restroom. And here you can see, is it? Yeah, I'm not really sure. We'll let you know when we put it up because see, all of them have a coating that you end up taking off. So anyways, this is the deck. It's been there since,
like you said, April.
waiting for it. Now we didn't build this anticipating the deck was going to get there in April. That's not true. Our builder had he couldn't continue the work because some things had not arrived, but he had his crew already. So we said, well, why don't we just build the deck? And of course, he thought that was a great idea. He had his crew all together, and he just put them to work on the deck. But this is the deck completed and painted months later because at first it was just bare wood. So this, in fact, Diana, this was completed. The painting was what?
I think it was early in December. Weather was still nice here when they did it. It has since changed considerably, but yes, the weather was nice and they were able to get out there and get it painted.
Right.
It's hard to tell since it's sitting there with snow all over it, but it's kind of it's a silver, sort of a silver white color.
Yeah, exactly. We took these pictures when? Just a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah, about a week and a half ago. There had been a lot of snow, and then we had a couple of warm days, and
well, we couldn't get up there when it was all covered with snow. We had to wait for it.
For about 2 weeks, we couldn't even get
and all
there.
that. But that's what was left over. There's a drone shot. That was me. I had been walking around there. It's not a deer. But anyway, so you get an idea. This is the size deck. You can make them smaller for the dome, but not a whole lot. Or you can make it just round like they did in Ripetopen, which actually maybe we'll, in this very presentation, now that I think of it, we should show them the finished product of the 10 millimeter dome in Ripetopen.
Sure.
Okay. So they did a different approach to the deck altogether, but this was our approach, and it's because I wanted to have the diamond shape so that I can walk out. See, the dome will come like about here, and I'll have about 12 feet to just stand there, admire the view, smoke my cigars, contemplate my navel, contemplate the universe, whatever. But I wanted that space. On the sides, it's only going to be about 3 or 4 feet on each side, but at the corners, it's going to be 12 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So that works out quite well for me.
And you're going to have the 2.1 meter bathroom in that back corner.
Yeah, that back corner, exactly. That's where the 2.1 meter is going to be. You can't really tell, but this is where the stairwell comes up, just a few steps. And that's where the front door is going to be here. And that 12 feet for the front door, and we're getting the archway, that's going to really work out well as well.
Right.
So that's a close-up. That's from the, when you walk up, the stairs are right below there. And that's the stairs. So there we go again. And that's the stairs. That's seeing it from the inside. This was shortly after it was painted. This is before the snow, well before.
And you can see the water on the deck. That was right after a very rainy period.
So it's a nice, it's not white really, it's kind of a white silver. That's what we chose. We like it a lot. And I think it'll go well with the aluminum and the blue curtains and all that on the dome. So here, anyways, our dome has arrived. It arrived in a very large truck, as you can see. This container you see behind you was completely full. We knew that because we have a picture, a short video that I don't have here, of them loading it into the container, and it was almost all the way to the top. They were still putting parts in.
Now, Gerard, that's a 20-foot shipping container, right?
Right, 20 foot. Here, they've already taken stuff out. This is not when we first opened it because we forgot to take pictures at the very beginning. But this was completely filled to the top. Now, so let's go back to that. We had to get a place at the last moment. We didn't realize that where we're going, for some reason up there, storage is at a premium. There's not much available, and fairly expensive. We were very surprised. So we lucked out and we got this, I'll admit, a little bit ramshackle, but it is 12 by 50 feet. And actually, we really lucked out because it's not the nicest space. It's not temperature control and nothing like that. So you got a leak in the back, and they told, we don't put anything back there. I mean, it's not a big leak, but this is not. In fact, he said he was going to renovate it, and he didn't really want to rent it out yet. But since we really needed it, he said, well, I do have it. And so we went and looked at it, and he says, do you still want it? We said, well, yeah, we do. So we took it. And as you're going to see, it's rough, but it will suit our purposes actually very well. So as you can see, just cinder blocks, ceiling. The window is actually a boarded up window. So it's this is really bare bones, but it's very large, and that's what.
And it's out of the weather, and it does what we need to have it do.
Yes, and everything, all the parts are meant to be out in the weather anyway. So it's not like we're temperature control. If we had the temperature control of this, that would be a really bad sign about this product. So we don't need any temperature control. We just need it safe, and it's safe. It's it's a solid building. So they packed it in such a way that the parts you unpack first are what you will be assembling first. So that worked out really well because since I'm already familiar with all the parts, I've seen if you follow us, you viewers, you will see the construction, the videos that they sent us, and you will see the manuals because we will, of course, be using them when we put this together. Right. So I already know, I'm pretty familiar with the parts and what order the whole thing gets constructed in. So as you'll see, we have these very large parts, and that's one with a window. They come like the first floor section, that's the biggest. And then these, if you can see here, these are the parameter of the aluminum circle that goes at the bottom, of which all the parts, the first row is put on. And then there's aluminum rows and ribs. And all of that we've put pretty strategically everywhere. I mean, at the right place. As you walk in the door, the stuff that you need first are actually right there available. And so that really helped that we had already seen videos and we knew what we were doing. So we packed it, we stored the parts in such a way to make it as easy as possible when we take the parts out. Oh, I left this out. We're not taking everything at once. We're going to establish what we think we can do in the first day. And we're only going to take the parts out for that first day. Mm-hmm. So that's what makes it so convenient that we have stacked everything in such a way that, okay, this is what we'll need for the first day. That can wait for the second, for the third, etc. Those, again, these are more of the aluminum, what would you call it, Beauty? It's the
ribs and
it's the bottom
frame.
The bottom rim is the foundation. So it's the aircraft grade aluminum. And then over here you see the ribs that will go up. Mm-hmm. Again, they're all aircraft grade aluminum. And Diana and I went to Norway, and we can tell you the materials are just excellent. So here you go. This is the first and second groups, first and second floors. And they're stacked all together, easily available. I brought this light in because there's a table. Let me see if I can show you here. Eventually, when we get these parts will come off quickly. But in these boxes are all the small parts, bolts and things like that, which we want to keep we want to be very careful about unpacking them and then sorting through which ones we're going to need. So that's why we have these tables. The tables are really to put the parts in the order we're going to use them when we get down to the bolts and screws, which there are a lot of them. There's 143 parts all in total. So we brought that light for that purpose. That's what the light is for.
And there, Gerard, in the back of that picture, you can see the dome tops for both the 10 meter and for the bathroom.
And actually, they will be the last things that go up. That's how we placed them back in the back corner. They'll be the very last things. And this is actually the bathroom, which will be one of the last things we do is put the bathroom and the top dome pieces up for the bathroom and the 10 meter. And that's what that is. Good observation there, madame. So here on the left side, we have these are the actual, we didn't put them in the back there, but these are the bathroom parts here. We sent their toilet. And this is probably, well, we don't want to say yet. We know that which one is the toilet. We think this might be the small bathtub. I don't know, but we'll go open them up when it's time.
When the time
arrives. We don't need it. We don't need to know now. Mm-hmm. So as you can see, the size, even though it's rather crude, the size has worked out very well for us. We can lay everything out strategically. So we advise you that if you order a 10 meter dome, you do get a large, instead of trying to divide it up into 2 or 3, unless, again, you're very familiar with the parts and you know how to divide them up 2 or 3 rooms, that could work. But this really works for us very well.
Right. And if you're in a position where you can immediately assemble the dome when it arrives, then, of course, you're in a great position. But with the weather and our house still under construction, that just wasn't really an option for us right now.
And it takes days, and we'll get to that when we look at the Ripetopen. The people in Ripetopen bought the container, so they pull the parts out as they needed it, and then they kept the container on the grounds because it's what they call the adventure park, and they have a whole compound where they work on things and build things. So to them, keeping the container was a good idea. For us, what to do with it afterwards, they say you can sell it easily, but then somebody has to pay to come and pick the thing up. So we elected not to do that. We have pickup trucks, large ones, and if we have to, a U-Haul truck. And we're very close to where this is going to be assembled. We're only about 10 miles away. So we will rent or use our own pickup trucks, pick the parts we need, and do it as we go along. But in Ripetopen, since they had the compound, they just they dropped the container, and they had a crane actually to unload the container. That was another big one.
Right.
We didn't have that. So for us, this worked out really well. That's the front door. And then the front door, you go in, the front door's on the left. This is the crew. Yours truly here. And for these guys are also, this is in fact the electrician and his son. And the paint is, he's the painter. And this
Right.
is.
So these are the guys who are working on building our house, but they
Exactly.
were good enough to give us a
Right,
little.
it was great of them to do this. The same team that's building our house came out at 9 a.m. They met us there, and we don't have a picture of him, but he was a fellow from Myanmar who was the driver. I thought he was Chinese. I said, "Wow, the Chinese got their own trucks here." But no, he's from Myanmar, and he was very helpful, very nice guy. And then we will show you. Oh, so how long did it take us, Beauty, to do all?
It took us about an hour and 45 minutes to get it unloaded, which is good because we only had 2 hours. The way the shipping for this goes, they give you buy a certain amount of time for unloading.
2 hours free, but then if you go over that,
okay, then it's, and we were within our limit, so it all worked out really well for us.
They told me that if you go over another hour, they're not going to charge you. That's what the trucker, he said the same thing. But if it takes a long time, say you'd only had 1 or 2 people and it taken 4 hours, then they might have.
And it took all this. It took the whole crew to get everything done.
Right.
And I just got to stand there with the clipboard and check things off.
You had the clipboard, checked it all off, and it's looking good. So this is what it looked like at the end. But this was a problem that we're going to warn you about. You see all this? It's very light. It doesn't weigh anything. However, we thought we dumped it back into the truck, and the truck driver was a little bit upset. He said if he goes back to the dock with that, they won't let him, and they'll charge him and all this other stuff. So we had to put it all the way back in, and then the truck driver and myself, well, Diana, we went. He followed us out there. We had to contact the what was it? What was it called?
It's a transfer station. Some places called a landfill. Whatever your
Whatever
area
you call it is a landfill. It was a nice, well done, well organized.
Yeah.
But we had to load this all back up. We had to drive all the way out there, and he followed us. They said the shipper's going to charge me $100 for all that. And, considering, that's okay. And they haven't so far.
Right.
And he helped us.
It would have taken us hours if we'd have had to actually do something with all that plastic and paper.
We asked the guy who owned the compound, and he said that his dumpster was all full. They had come, so we had to do something with it. We loaded it all back up. The crew helped us, but then only the trucker and I and Diana went to the landfill. He backed it up to the spot they told us to, and then he and I went all the way to the back, and I pulled up. There was actually not a carpet. What would you call it? A tarp. There was a tarp underneath it. Picked it up and started pushing, and pretty soon we had shoved the whole thing out. How, Diana, you watched this. How long did it take us to shove all that stuff out?
Oh, probably 10 or 15 minutes maximum.
Yeah, the most. So, but just so you know, when you have this thing sent to you, you will have to do something with it.
Yeah. Because this was just packing material that they had stuffed in and around things so that it didn't move during passage, during the shipment. So literally it's nothing but plastic and paper with nothing in it, obviously.
I could just wade and kick through it and push it. It was nothing. So, but so you will have to do something with this, and that's about how much there's going to be. It's not. I don't have another picture, but there was a lot. It's a lot. So let's take a look at Ripetopen. The 10-meter dome, in the interim, since we spoke to you last, it's been put up. And
when you say Ripetopen, let's just point out, this is in Norway. This was the place that we visited we told you about in one of our previous videos, and stayed in a much smaller dome while we were there.
And you can see it. Our audience will see it because that dome is still there, but this big 10-meter was not. In fact, they had I hate to say it, they had the geodesic domes of canvas, and they were having problems with them. And they had 2 of those, but they're getting rid of both of them because they leak.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mean to badmouth the competition, but just so you know. So anyways, we will head there, and we'll be there shortly. All right, I'm going to start there just to talk about the blue. Okay, so here we are. Now, this is not Rippetopen. This is somewhere further north, and we talked about that. This is the double pane, way more insulation, and this is for really cold climates or exceptionally hot climates. And you see, you get that beautiful blue because if you order it with the 2 paints, but I'm not going to get a blue that intense. Mine will be much lighter, but just so you can get an idea, this is in Norway as well, but it's much further north, and that's them building it in the snow. This is the archway for the front door, which I will have on my dome. So I've told you in that corner, that's where it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Now here they are building. This is Rippetopen, and they started building it in the winter as well. And they've already gotten that far. We don't have videos and pictures from the very beginning, which I'm a little bit. I wish I had, sort of saying. I wish they had started taking pictures and videos. But at any rate, there they are. They've already gotten that far. They got the whole frame up, and the rim at the bottom, and the ribs, and they were starting to put in. I don't know if all of the bottom. I don't think all of the bottom ones are in yet. You know, this first layer, but you can see they're putting them in place. Putting them in place. That's a video of them. So there you go. Looks like it's just there. It's the exterior is done. They're finished.
And that's a good picture to see the round deck that they chose, the round platform that they built theirs on, rather than having the excess around it like we're going to have. It's just enough. It's just the right
exactly size. It's exactly right. And then you don't see it because it's under the snow, but there's a platform here. You're going to see it in a minute.
Just like
they did the absolute minimal, and it looks cool too. It's just, that's what they wanted. I definitely wanted deck space to go walk out on. So this is the inside. This is not a promotion picture, ladies and gentlemen. This is actually the inside of the Rippetopen dome after they did the interior, put in the curtains and everything. In other words, this is now this. Here you can see they're using the split.
The mini split. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the mini split. I think you see that one, Diana, that's bigger than 3 feet, right? This is a larger one.
Could be.
And this is the upstairs. I'm using a different, I designed my own configuration. But it is based on one of the ones that they had, but our builders are going to build it the way I wanted it. But this is still very nice. That's the downstairs. The furniture, I believe they got. Diana, of course, the Norwegians like that style too.
Yeah, I think that's probably locally purchased furniture.
Mm-hmm. If we go back here, you're going to see that this complicated, there's a stairwell, all of this came with the dome. So they probably had at least 2 containers. I can imagine, because just the shell and everything took a complete container, much less all the hardware you see there. This is sent by the company because we have videos of them going through one of the first ones they built. This is their configuration and their materials. There we are, the bottom floor, the lounge room. Now, as you can see there, this dome here, the one you see, that one. Yeah. That's the dome that Diana and I stayed in when we went to Norway. And this dome, of course, did not exist. Was the Was the geodesic dome even there, or had they taken it down?
The geodesic dome had been on the one that we stayed on, the platform that our dome was on. So
This
it was
one
already
too.
gone.
This
Right.
They had one there too.
But no, on where this big one, where the 10 meter is, there was nothing there. They just had a platform covered with the tarp when we were there.
Right, but
Right.
because they
Down
had,
below, there were a few other options.
below there was the another geodesic dome that they were.
Yeah, because that
they were
path that you
switched for this
see
because
out
it was
through the
leaking.
window of this particular picture, you see a path going down to your right.
Mhm.
That went down to the lower level where there was an ERT, I think it's called, and there was a round.
Yeah, there was a dome, but it was actually this way. But whatever, there was a dome in this spot. He told me before, and they didn't like it and they got rid of it. That's why they brought the 10 meter in. You're saying they also had one where
Right,
our
because
dome is.
you recall there was an kind of an odd configuration of wood around the outside of the Dream Dome that we stayed in, and that was because there had been something else on it, and they had to do a little.
And this one they had a deck that we could walk out in and sit on.
Right, we could go all the way around it.
So there you can see that's the dining area. You can see the second floor. There you can see again the 10-meter dome, and you can see the platform now. You can just barely see it there, and then you see the stairwell going up to the dome that Diana and I stayed in.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. That's a very good shot of it. Here's all they did for the entrance deck. The rest is cut exactly to fit. And
you can see the bedroom there.
There's 2 bedrooms, and you can see it's just beautiful. It's just impeccable. The polycarbonate is of such quality, and they have all the drapes closed, but you can see that they have them on both floors. It's another shot of the interior. The interior shot from above. There you are, close up. The other bedroom. Here, this is where the stairwell, it's not a stairwell, the staircase goes right down there. And then the bathroom is under the staircase. There's a whole.
There is no bathroom in that one.
Well, they didn't opt for to have the bathroom.
Right, because they don't have water in that facility. You actually have to go to a common area, like a bathhouse.
Yeah. And we've noticed that a lot of the bed and breakfast and what do you call the Airbnbs and whatnot do the same thing, that they will have a common bathroom place for showers and all, and there won't be any water to the actual structure. But it's not that common. But there in Norway, it's almost the norm. None of the remember this is a pretty extensive adventure park. There's these teepee structures. There's a big lake, a waterfall. There's a lot of structures for people to stay in, and none of them have water or air or anything like that. There's a common shower and water place, and that's the norm. It seems to be in Norway, because we went to another place and it was the same thing. But so they've chosen not to have a functional bathroom down there, and where the bathroom would be, they're using it for storage. So there you go, another scene of our dome and the dome we stayed in, and you can see the beautiful lake there. That's not the bigger lake. This is the lake behind us. There's another one where we went canoeing. So you can see it's just a beautiful dome. I mean, it's gorgeous. Ours will be like this, but the interior will be completely different. That's neither here nor there. It's another dome someplace else. So anyways, that concludes. Anything else? We covered the arrival of our dome, everything that was involved in it. We will have a special video on the shipping, because we learned a lot about shipping, and I'm dealing with a new shipper. Well, yes, I'm dealing with actually 2, and we'll have a lot to talk about when we do the shipping part of it. And of course, with the new administration, the shipping costs could go up dramatically. So we will reserve that for after We see what happens with the tariffs, and I'm working out deals with our contacts with China and with Norway. So we'll see what happens with the shipping. We'll talk about the costs and all that. But what else, Diana? Did we cover everything?
We are excited for the weather to clear a little more in our area. It's still been very, very cold. We've got sort of two hats on right now. We're building a house and we're getting ready to build a dome. So we're getting ready.
Yeah, and we don't want to pull the workers on the house off to build a dome. So that's the main reason. Now, I did have another team that I could have hired to start on the dome, but I've decided I want to stick with our people. The people that are building our house. We're just going to stay with them. And so we're just going to wait till the house is built, and then the team will come over and start working on the dome.
Exactly.
So by the way, the trucking part from the port to where you saw to the destination was smooth. Really, just no problems, none. They gave me a call. They said, we're coming. 9 o'clock on this such and such a day. Everything was done. And he showed up like clockwork at 9 o'clock in the morning. That guy pulled up. So that part, the trucking was part, we lucked out. We have a really good facility to store everything for as long as we need. And that's something for you all to keep in mind, that you're going to have to prepare for that. Or have something on site. Whatever you do, it's a lot, as you can see. You're going to have to prepare for that. What are you going to do if you receive a dome of this size? Now, the smaller domes will be another discussion. Obviously, won't be this involved. So we covered that. What else? Looks like we covered everything.
I think we've covered it all, honey.
Yeah. Then you saw just what a beautiful result. How can you argue with this? The thing is it's just beautiful. Yeah. That's going to be well, Tor's already told us it's a big hit. Everybody that stays in it loves it. So anyways, from Gerard and Diana and Aurora Dream Domes, till next time.
Next time.